part of it for me is like information processing. Like, if you think about like your brain as like a highway, right? Like most people have so many lanes, and so it's easier for them to direct traffic. Well, I've got like an 18-lane fucking highway, you know? Like, so I'm just trying to Frogger across and just grab hold of something, you know what I mean? So there's just so many ideas flying by at one time that it's hard to stay on track and focus. But then the other aspect of that is, if I do grab onto something, I can fall into that hole and not come out for days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, during COVID, I was working on a tour, and we were trying to put together like some video stuff. And so I was doing video editing, and I literally fell into a hole, and I was editing video for 42 hours straight. No sleep, no like bathroom breaks and food, and that was it. And I was just in a hole. I couldn't stop.
You'll just hyper focus.
Yeah. It was that, and it was like, I can't let this go until it's done, because I know I have that thing in my brain. It's like, I know once I let it go, it's gonna be really hard getting back here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they say a lot of people who are like really good at certain things, like a lot of people who are, I always thought that pro video game players, some of them, because they're so antisocial and they're so really good and like laser focused at this one thing, this one specific game. And there's another guy who, Clay Marzo, he's a professional surfer. And he was like a very antisocial guy, didn't like to talk to people, didn't like to talk to anybody, but he was like one of the best, wildest, most creative surfers I've ever seen. And I always, for some reason, just associated Asperger's with people like that. People just like laser focused on one thing. It's all they can think about.
Well, and you're fucking spot on, because that's the deal. But for me, for a long time, like, because I wasn't sure what that thing was for me that I was going to be really good at, and so I didn't realize it. But I'd have these really intense hobbies, but I would only have them for really short periods of time. Like, I've learned to do all sorts of crazy shit. Like, I grew up in construction, like we were talking about outside. Excuse me. So I got into like woodworking and like crafting stuff and like making things from wood, and I was, you know, doing a lot of woodwork, and like did like an Etsy store and was like selling stuff on there. And then from woodworking, then like I got burnt out on woodworking, and I was like, this isn't it. I don't want to do this, but you know, maybe it is something with my hand, something tactile with my hand. So then I went into like leather working, and then I went into like the Kydex, making those like molded plastic like holsters and stuff like that. And then from there I went into like the fucking, I don't have any but like the paracord, like how people make like the bracelets and the lanyards and like, So I was making like these braided, like, you know, 12-foot dog leashes out of, you know, making these weird jigs so I could like, you know, make all these weird patterns and designs and stuff. And so I would have these weird intense focuses, and then I would just burn out on them
and just go to something
so
else.
like 7-8 months, and then be like, nope, this isn't it, what's next, you know. And I was in one of those when I was getting diagnosed. I wanted to make like my own cartoon. I was like, this is the next thing. Like, I want to do something creative and fun, you know? And so I was trying to make my own cartoon. So I was like trying to teach myself how to draw and how to animate and how to like storyboard and like all of this stuff all at the same time. And while we were doing the observation, that appointment at the University of Florida at their Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, like going through all of that, and I was telling him about this idea, and he's like, so you definitely you need like a creative outlet of some kind, but what you're trying to do now isn't releasing that pressure valve. Like, there's too many obstacles between you and releasing that actual pressure from your brain. He's like, why don't you just try, like, you want to make people laugh. It's not like you have like humor seems to be like the element you're best with communicating with. So why don't you try like doing like an open mic or something? And I was like, all right, sure, let's, you know. And then I fucking did it. And then ever since then, I was like, this is the thing. Like, that first time I got a laugh on stage, like something just kind of clicked into place, man.
Okay. It was a doctor that suggested open stand-up comedy to you?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, because like I said, like during that observation, we spent like 4 hours together, and literally it's almost like if someone were interviewing you for like to like write your biography. You know what I mean? Like, everything about your life. Like, what do you remember from your childhood? What about this? Like, what about this? Like, all of these questions. And as he starts building this up, like, he's basically building a profile of like these are some of your traits, like these are some of the things you struggle with, like going through all of that.
Right.
And that was just something that he highlighted, was like, you need like some like method of creativity, because they're like, you have, so that talking about that highway earlier, he's like, your highway is backed up because you can't get this traffic off of the highway.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to get this traffic off the highway, or it's never going to unblock, And so that's why he's like, you have all of these hurdles, like you're trying to teach yourself how to draw and animate and storyboard, and trying to learn like 5 different skills at one time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And you have to do all of that before you can reach that creative level.
Right.
So you're basically hampering yourself. Like, just go straight to the tap.
Yeah.
You say when you reach the creative level, you mean like releasing it to the public and letting people experience what you created, or the creative process of it? Because the creative process, obviously, something like a cartoon, there's like days and hours and weeks and months of production and drawing and animating.
Right. And so I would call that production versus like the creative process of actually like sitting down and like writing out the ideas, but then also getting that feedback of presenting it to an audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and getting that feedback and response, because like you can write it, but if you write it and it just sits somewhere, like, have you actually, like, it's almost like you haven't finished. You know what I mean? Like, it's not done. Like, it's out, but you still need that feedback before, like, like you need to make sure that traffic is safe to exit before you can kick it out completely. You know what I mean? Like, is this something I need to bring back and keep in my head because I need to rework on it?
Yeah.
And
See
make
if
it better,
works, yeah.
or is this the final version? So I have to do that before I can clear that traffic from the freeway. And he's like, that's where your holdup is. Just get out in front of people.
Yeah.
Get that's immediate feedback.
Right.
So
had you done any creative writing prior to that?
when I was a kid, so that was the thing. Like, looking back now, I was like, wow, I should have been on this track of like creative writing the whole time. Because like in second, third, and fourth grade, like I won awards for like children's writing contests and stuff. Like I won like a young authors award for like a children's book about a princess and a dragon. Like, it was just stuff kids write.
But you were obviously good at it then.
Yeah, but part of talking about like that executive function and like task management and things like that, once I got to a certain point in school, what we were learning was boring to me because like I learned this on my own. Like, I'm going to read my own book. I'm going to do my own thing, so you kind of lose track of what you're doing if you're intelligent and you get free time and there's no structure to it, it just goes off somewhere. So it never made it to creative writing because that was given as an assignment, so it felt like work. Like, I never had reached that point where it was like, oh no, this is a fun thing for me, because it was somebody telling me to do it as opposed to me wanting to do it. And like if you force someone to do something, even if it's something they enjoy, there's gonna be that
don't feel the same.
Exactly. So it took me like rediscovering it later in life to realize, like, because I was just in my friends group, because I have a small circle of people that I'd gotten so comfortable with. We've been friends for like decades, you know what I mean? And like some people, like I can meet and things just click. Like, there's no awkward anything. I was like, oh no, I get this person, and then we're good, but that doesn't happen often. So I have like a small group of friends, and I was the funny friend. And then, at a certain point, I was like, one of my friends, Ben, like, used to encourage me. He's like, you should try open mics. And I was just like I said, I can't physically do it. Because like I tried it. I went to try it one time. I went to an open mic when I was like 23, and I was going to go up on stage. And I was shaking so bad. I went to the bathroom, threw up, and just left. I didn't even stay and watch the show. Okay. It was just so super bad anxiety. And then I was going to try again when I was married, so I was like 26. I was going to try again, and it was not a healthy relationship, so she talked me out of it. It was like, do you really think you're funny enough that other people are going to want to hear, like, sit and listen to you? And I was like, good call.
Good point, no.
Yeah. Because who's full of themselves enough to be like, yeah, this room full of people is definitely going to want to hear what I have to say. So I just didn't have that.